Lao and international officials made the recommendation in their address at a ceremony held in Vientiane to commemorate the 5th anniversary of the coming into force of the Convention on Cluster Munitions, or CCM, on August 1st that a steady concerted effort by the international community is needed in addressing the threats from unexploded ordnance, or UXO. Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Saleumxay Kommasith called on other countries that have yet to join the convention to consider becoming members. He said, "I call on the countries that have yet to join the convention to consider being members to join forces in prohibiting the production and use of cluster munitions because this is the best way of protecting people from their threat." In his remarks, Saleumxay Kommasith, who is also vice chairman of the National Regulatory Authority, said he was proud of projects and activities implemented under the Vientiane Action Plan, with many countries completing the destruction of their arsenals of cluster munitions. He also praised the inspection and clearance of the munitions, building awareness on the risks from the munitions, and aid provisions to the UXO victims that have been steadily progressing in many countries. He said the parties to the convention would exchange experiences at the first review meeting on the convention implementation, which takes place in Dubrovnik, Croatia next month. Speaking at the ceremony, the United Nations Development Program resident representative in Laos, Karina Imonin, highlighted the continued use of indiscriminate weapons in some conflict hotspots around the world, saying that 90% of all recorded cluster munitions casualties worldwide were civilians, mostly farmers and children. She said, "We in the UN are therefore actively advocating member states to sign both the Convention on Cluster Munitions and Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention." According to the United Nations Development Program resident representative in Laos, around 20,000 people have been victims of UXO in Laos since the end of the Indochina War, with 300 occurring in 2008. She also reminded the audience of the recent increase of casualties from 41 in 2013 to 45 in 2014, while 30 casualties were reported over the past 6 months of this year. It was alarming if the steady decline that was observed from 2008 up until 2013 had come to an end. The text of the final draft of the CCM was adopted on May 30, 2008 by 107 countries, including 7 of the 14 countries that use cluster bombs and 17 of the 34 countries that produce them. As an international treaty that prohibits all use, production, transfer, and stockpiling of cluster munitions, the convention entered into force on August 1, 2010. As of today, a total of 117 states have joined the convention. Of these, 93 states have fully ratified the convention, while the other 24 have signed.